Create a habitat for productivity. Hey, this is Josh Friberg with Abundant Agents, and we work with agents to help them be more productive at work, more present at home, and more purposeful in their community. If you're into that sort of thing, I'd love for you to take a second and subscribe to this channel where we go deep into how you can have that more abundant agency. And today we're going to dig into one of the things that causes the most trouble for people in terms of their productivity, and that's what I call the habitat of productivity. The actual physical, temporal, and people space around you and how it impacts your productivity. Now, as we've talked about over the last couple weeks, there's a key factor in each of these big areas of our life, our work life, our home life, and our community life, and that there's different things that make for a win in that what causes you to win at work isn't the same thing that makes for a great healthy home life, and what causes a great healthy home life isn't the same thing that makes you a vibrant member of your community. And so we need to learn different hard and soft skills in each one of these areas. And today we're going to talk about that crazy habitat that we call our workspace. And you can probably guess that, boy, for a lot of the clients that I work with, the insurance agents and real estate agents, they've really struggled with that this last year, where the place where we work and the place we call home is, well, it's the same physical environment. You know, when you're working in the guest room of your house and your kids are doing school at the dining room table, it becomes really difficult in those lines between those two spaces. We used to get in our car and drive to our office, and now when are we at work, when are we at home, where is work, where is home? It's very challenging. Well, there's three areas, and I love Venn diagrams, so we'll show you a new one today. There's three big areas when it comes to having a healthy habitat for productivity to thrive, right? And I almost want you to think about this the same way we would talking about wildlife habitat. How is it that an owl can have great habitat? It needs the right kind of trees and food. Well, your productivity at work, well, it has a habitat, right? A productivity habitat contains three healthy factors: space, time, and people. Space, time, and people. And when you get these right, productivity will thrive in the middle of those. But there's some key things you need to get right. So first of all, we need a space that is designed. It's designed around your productivity. Now listen, that doesn't mean you need to go get some architect to come in and build your desk, but it does mean you need to be intentional about the physical space that you work in. Do you have the resources available for you? Is it conducive to you doing your best work? Cal Newport talks about in this book, Deep Work, about how difficult it is to get into the state of deep work and how easy it is to be distracted. When we have designed spaces that are crafted around us being productive, well, then we know that we can be most productive in those places. Do you have the resources that you need? Is it working well? Does it work for your body, right? Well, as well as for your mind, to stay undistracted and clear in the work that you're doing. The other thing is that it is designated, right? And I know that sounds really similar, right? But it is designated space. And that means that the place you work, the only thing you do there is work. Our spaces, when you think about the physical spaces that people live and work in, they tell us what to do. When you're in the kitchen, it's time to cook or to eat, right? And perhaps your living room is structured in a certain way. Is your the type of living room that invites you to have a cup of coffee and a great conversation with somebody, or maybe it invites you to watch a sporting event on TV, or maybe it's the type of room that invites you to quietly read a book curled up in front of the fire? Well, that's because it's designated for that space. And then you probably heard, right, it's also designed around those different activities. One of the things, especially if you're working from home, is to designate a space that is just for work. And I don't care if it's an old TV tray in the corner of a guest room. I don't care if it's a closet that you've pulled everything out of. Designate that space that the only thing I do in this space is work. Right? And that's the opportunity I had this year, was to design this studio space that it's just for my video calls and creating content, talking with my coaching clients when I'm working with them. And it lets me know when I sit down here, oh, I'm here to work now. Right? And then when I leave, that I go to be at home when I walk through that door. We need to make sure that our spaces are designated for the activities that we're going to do in them. Well, let's take a look at our time. And here's a way I want you to start thinking about your time, is kind of a check-in, check-out system. When I remember working summers, I worked for General Motors, actually, at a parts distribution plant. And they were very rigid about clock in and clock out times. And it was very clear, if you were 1 minute late, I mean, you were written up for it. You could only have 3 of those over the course of the summer. It was very rigid around checking in and checking out. Well, the thing that was nice about that is, particularly the checking out part, is that is a job like no other that I've had, where I left work at work. And so what we want to do with our work, and again, particularly when we're working from home, is choose to be at work, like clock in and be at work. And then when we go home, even if it's only the 10 feet from your, ad hoc office to the dining room table, make sure you go home. And a couple tips on this, by the way, these are super fun, and I've had some clients who've told me great success that they've had with it. One is, do a fake commute. Even if it's only 5 minutes to walk around the block, like, leave for work. Go walk out your front door. Walk 5 minutes around the block. I actually know somebody who got in their car and drove to work. Come back, and then walk in the side door, walk in the back door, and go straight into your workspace. When you're done with your work for the day, be done. Shut off your computer, close your email, walk out the door, walk around the house, and go in the front door. And hey, if you have to say to everybody like, hey, I'm home, do that. The other tip that I have for you, it's related, is change your clothes. Actually put on the clothes that you go to work in. And then when you're done, actually change your clothes into your home clothes. I know this growing up. My dad was a union bricklayer all growing up. And so, his clothes were really dirty when he came home. And so his work clothes, he would take those off and then have his clothes for at home. I had a different situation working real estate, is that my work clothes were, more like, slacks and a shirt and jacket and stuff. And then I would come home and change into my home clothes, which were actually more like my dad's work clothes, right? Because then I would do chores around the house and stuff like that. But the point is that when you change clothes, you change your mindset. You actually become and step into the physical space that you work in. Right, so the second key to a great habitat for your productivity is time. And when we can check in and check out and be at work and be at home, we're going to find more productivity at our work. And then, of course, as we talk about often, being more present at home. And the third area that's really important is people. You have people in your life, at home, at work, vendors, team members, employees, bosses, whatever it is, you have people in your life. And there's just one word I want to write around this, and that is negotiate. Negotiate, negotiate, negotiate. And this is an ongoing process. It is not a one and done. But ask the people in your life, what do you need from me? And then listen and figure out how you can provide it. But then also say, this is what I need from you, and negotiate for it. The people in our environments, in our habitats, help or hinder our productivity. And we want to negotiate with them so that we can help them accomplish what they need to accomplish, and that they can work with us on helping us accomplish what we need to accomplish. Build a healthy habitat for your productivity by taking seriously the physical space. Make sure that it is designed and designated for your productivity. Think about the time and how you're going to check in and check out of work and of home. And negotiate with the people around you. This is how you can be more productive at work, more present at home, and purposeful in your community. And this is part of the path to abundance.